Hello, my name is Melissa Cruz, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about why you should ask the right questions in a job interview and how asking the wrong questions in a job interview will discourage the employer from hiring you. Now, imagine that you go into a job interview and you're in the waiting area. The people around you are younger or older, more experienced, or more educated than you. You begin to think to yourself, how am I going to stand out? And is this job really for me? Asking the right questions will not only set you apart from all the other candidates, but it'll also reassure you that this is the right position for you. By asking the right questions, it'll show both you and the employer if you're the best fit for this position. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over some of the right questions that you should ask to encourage the employer and to show them that you are the right candidate for the job, and also to reassure you that this is the right job for you. We're also going to go over some of the wrong questions that you should not ask an employer, and how asking no questions can sometimes be a killer. Okay, so some of the right questions that we're going to go over are: what is a typical day or a week for a person in this position? This is a great opportunity for an employer to let you know what each day is going to look like should you get this position. And after you hear this, you can make an evaluation. Am I able to give and invest the time that is required for this position? Another good question is, the person that gets this position, what do you expect that they'll accomplish in the very first year? This also gives you an insight of what the employer is going to need for this position and what they expect at the end of your first year. Now, if they're only going to offer a small amount of training and then they're going to put you in, it requires someone who has more experience and is confident that they're going to be able to just jump in. So if you don't have that much experience, this question is going to help you to make that decision whether you have enough experience to just jump into this career. Another great question to ask your employer is, describe the culture. What kind of people thrive in this business? What kind of people don't make it? This shows the employer that you want to make sure that you're a good candidate for the team. Whether you show that you're an extrovert or an introvert. Like in some sales positions, you need to be an extrovert. You need to be a people person. And if you're an introvert, you might not be so successful in that field. Or it could be the opposite. You might need to be an introvert and you're an extrovert. Maybe the office is not very team friendly and it's more of individual work, but you're the kind of person that needs to be part of a team. Then this might not be the right position for you. One of the most encouraged questions that I tell people to ask is, where do you see the company going in the next 3 years? This shows the employer that you're interested in the future, in the long run, and where the company will be headed. The reason why I ask people to ask this question is because I also have an experience asking this question to an employer where they explained to me that they had been under contract every 2 years and had to continue to reapply for their job. Now, this was a really big red flag for me, which is why I ask this question all the time. Because you want to make sure that this is an employment that's going to be there in the long run, and if it's going to be in the short term, that you're ready just for a short-term job. Asking the right questions gives the employer the impression that you're in it for the long haul, that you're ready to invest your time and many years to come with this employer. However, you don't want to ask the wrong questions during an interview, or no questions at all. At the end of the interview, always have a question. For those that don't have questions, it shows the interviewer that they have no interest in this job. If you have no questions and you're about to involve yourself with the company, it's going to show the employer that as they're training you, you might still have questions, but you're not going to ask them. Also, if you give them there are some questions that are wrong to ask during an interview, such as, what am I going to get paid? This kind of question should be answered either in your interest letter or an application, or not during an interview question, not during an interview. In fact, the only other time to ask about pay is after getting offered the job. Also, another question is, what does this company do? This tells the employer that you did not care enough for the interview to go and do your own research about the company that you're about to get hired with. And if you're not making that kind of investment now, what makes the employer think that you're going to do the investment if you were to get hired? Another question not to ask in an interview is, when do I get paid vacation? This shows the employer that you're already thinking about vacation and you're not really ready to commit into going into work. Also, if you're thinking about vacation, or maybe you have a vacation planned, you might want to consider, am I ready for this employment? Again, asking the right questions is the best way to ensure that the job is right for you, and it's a great opportunity to show the employer how interested you are in the job. The key is to ask the right questions to encourage the employer that you're ready to take on this position. And it's best to avoid the wrong questions or not having any questions at all, because it shows that you're unprepared and that you might not be the best candidate. So I want to highly encourage you to write down 4 questions that you would ask an employer during an interview, both for their benefit and yours, to make sure that employment is going to be a great employment for you and you're going to be a good match for the employer. I want to thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, thank you so much.